all you fucking beautiful people. The Drizzle Stank, the Apple Jacks, Miss Jelly Love.
So our next
Kobe.
our next segment, it's just something I kind of like came across, and we're gonna talk about the kids in drag, but we're not talking about just like, you know, we're talking about a very particular part of it.
Is that the signal for the TB theme song? Is that the section we're on now?
We are on the section where we were talking about Walmart's Walton family is funding the drag queen shows.
Good night, Mary Ellen. Good night, pal. Good night, John Boy. Yeah, they're that's kind of hella creepy.
Now, would you expect that?
Tell us more.
Now, I've already covered how I feel about, you know, drag queens and doing story hour. I feel like doing drag is a very sexualized act, and it is for adults. Just like you wouldn't bring a kid to a strip club, you know.
Yeah.
You don't bring your kid to that. It's just not, you know, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as just cross-dressing. It is a completely different ballgame. But so as I'm looking into some of this stuff, I come across this and I'm like, wait, what? Walmart was like super conservative. Like that just it like threw up a red flag for me, not a rainbow flag, you know. Whoa. Walmart, you know, like
wah, wah, wah.
So yeah, I started to look into this. This like grabbed my eye. I'm like, wait, why are second and third generation heirs of Walmart founder? Why are they funneling millions of dollars into LGBTQ related causes in their home state of Arkansas? What?
Say what?
It didn't seem like it fit together for me. Like there was like, I'm like, oh, this doesn't seem right. Like, you know,
come on, John Boy, what are you saying?
So, you know, among other things, the Walton funded groups and Walmart Foundation have sponsored local drag shows and story hours for kids, teens, and teens only events for LGBTQ, identifying youth and other progressive causes such as diversity, equality, inclusion programs in public schools, in the State University of oh my god, Fayette. What is that? Fayetteville in Arkansas.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
If I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry.
That is correct. Fayetteville.
Arkansas. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sam Walton's daughter, Alice Walton, and grandson, Tom Walton, along with Tom's wife, Olivia, have been at the forefront of these initiatives. I was like, what? Really? Like, someone's messing with me, right? Like, so, and I'm for LGBTQ, you know, events and support. Absolutely. I'm not for this protected class of people that are pushing an agenda onto children. That's a different story.
That is a good point, Little said. The rainbow flag itself was actually the Rainbow Family of the Living Light's first flag. Flag first, I mean.
It's true. Yeah.
True story.
Sam Walton's okay, wait, I said that. The Walton Foundation and the Walmart Foundation are leading sponsors of the Northwest Arkansas's NWA Equality and LGBTQ nonprofit based in Fayetteville. The group stated a mission to provide programs, education, and advocacy to serve, connect, and empower the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ community, which I think is great. I'm all for supporting, you know, the community.
Fully.
That I'm not against.
No, I'm definitely just against that whole idea that thinks that story time and being risque in front of children is fucking in any way cool or okay. It's not. It's
Yeah.
not at all. So that shouldn't be fucking funded
Yeah,
by
there's
fucking
things that are for
anybody.
adults, and there's things that should be for kids. And that's
Yes.
definitely just not that you're not cool by mixing the two. Like that doesn't make you a cool person. And I'm a person that's been to drag shows, that have had partners that have been in drag shows. I'm not against that. And I did that while I was raising my daughter. And no, she never went to a drag show. She never went and received, she saw my partner dressed up. But that was it. Like, it wasn't in the actual environment. Like,
that's the thing about it. It's like, if you know what I mean? If it was just somebody in drag and they were just pretending to be the opposite sex with no sexualization involved, then what the fuck is that? I don't care about that. That's nothing. But they're not doing that. They're pushing it and pushing it farther and farther, and it's just inappropriate. If you do anything other than just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a problem with somebody wanting to be the opposite sex or look like the opposite sex. There's no impact in that way.
Just like I wouldn't bring a minor to a strip club, I wouldn't bring a
Exactly.
minor to this environment.
That's exactly the same level of it that I'm talking about. I wouldn't bring, you can't you can't let
oh yeah, they are aggravated
blur.
Progressive. Yes, they are doing risky drag shows. Like, actually, there's there's more to this. But yeah, they're doing risky drag shows and inappropriate things in front of children. On and taking money, and kids are going up on stage and doing drag themselves. Like this is, and they're taking money from adults. Like, it's gone out of control.
It's like the strip club scene and a birthday party, and
like it would be like
it's
like
fucked up.
It'd be like a strip. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah.
It's not like wholesome. Like, I'm talking about, if people were just in drag, then what would the harm be if they're just literally sitting there reading a book? As long as it's not a fucking inappropriate book, then I don't see the harm in that. But it's not. It's like there's these stage shows and different things happening in Austin and different towns that
it's happening everywhere.
Like people are like fucking, okay with it. Like, where they're happening, like we're the uptight people about this, really? Like, I don't know. Being gross in front of kids is being gross in front of kids. I don't care what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, no, there's some major they filed Kate, like, yeah, we'll get into that as we go. I don't want to jump ahead of myself here.
Salty. Nobody gets me when I wear my dildo costume at the park and the playground. I mean, it's a playground.
I mean, yeah, like, that's the kind of inappropriateness, like that feels like this to me.
That's the level that, see, as ridiculous as that is, as Salty is a fucking funny motherfucker, that's exactly the same kind of, like, inappropriateness it is. Like, you just, you know what I mean? There's a fucking time and a place for everything. That's what I think.
Like, I enjoy a drag show, absolutely, but not with a kid. Like, that's just not like that. Why would you? No, that's just not what I want to. Like, I don't.
People just don't act like
spoil
adults.
that with me. Like, like,
people try to blur the line between adult and kid way too fucking much, and on all sorts of creepy levels and shit. And it's, it's become more and more socially acceptable. And I can see the fucking, why the conservative people are freaking out and acting the way that they are, because that's how outlandish it seems.
Because there's not a lot of people on like this, like on the left or whatever, talking about it. There really isn't. There's not a lot of people talking about what's really happening. And it's like, so people are gravitating more towards this like more conservative side that are talking about these things. And that's where people are finding their like, oh, well, I don't agree with them on a bunch of stuff, but I'm now identifying more as a conservative. And that's what's happening. That's what's it's causing more division by people not addressing it and not talking about it.
And I think there's also a line like of how much certain subjects get fucking light. You know what I mean? Certain things are not happening on such a grand scale. I'm not saying this is happening in every fucking town across the nation, but it is happening more frequently than you would think. And people should talk about it and be like, yeah, really? Are you okay with that kind of idea? You know what I mean? I think it's kind of fucked up. And that will cause more people to have an eye out for that kind of thing and be like, no, fuck no, dude, you can't do that or whatever, or before, or whatever their fucking is, whatever their opinion is of it. My point is that like there is a line somewhere where we're like, all right, well, everybody's talking about this topic. You know,
well,
we need
to protect kids. It's not about a left or a right issue. That's right. My problem is that this is about kids and this is about keeping our kids safe. And that's not a fucking like left or a right issue.
Yeah.
That really is, I don't, we need to keep our kids safe. That's it. It shouldn't be a divisive issue.
Yeah.
But it isn't being addressed though by a lot of people.
That's what I think is.
All right. Let me get back.
You need to specify.
Because there's more to this. So, and I was like, you know, like, why is Walmart funding this? It just doesn't seem right. It just seems like there's an alternative agenda, especially being that they are typically a more conservative, like, you know, like as far as I knew, that's what, you know, like they barely even donated Walmart. They didn't really donate a lot. Their people work off of slave labor. Like they're not in this for the people. Why are they doing this? So in 2018, the Walmart and Walton Foundations donated around $2.5 million to fund a 3-year training program in diversity, equality, and inclusion for DEI called Truth Northwest Arkansas, NWA. Equality was one of the first groups to receive a True North grant, which the Waltons offered in collaboration with the Transgender Equality Network. And like I've said before, one of my best friends is trans. So, you know, we talk about these kind of things. And you know what he tells me is that if we don't talk about it and we don't walk up to the line of where something might be offensive, we don't walk that and go as far as we can, we don't know where the offensive starts and where it stops. So Walmart and the Waltons continue offering grants and capital gifts to NWA Equality as late as 2020. They sponsor LGBT related events in Arkansas, Benton, and Washington counties as part of the group's stated efforts to make drag accessible to new audiences and to place drag shows at the forefront of Northwest Arkansas social calendar. And I thought, well, that's weird. Why drag? NWA's Equality Dickinson Divas drag events, for instance, featured drag queen brunches and children's story times to Arkansas residents in Fayetteville. The group sponsors Northwest Arkansas Pride, the state's largest LGBTQ pride celebration. And like, I don't care if somebody wants to dress up as the opposite gender, whether or not it's something whether they're trans or not. Like, do you? I don't really care. I don't think that any store or anyone should tell you that you can't wear a skirt or you can wear a skirt or you can't wear this or you can't wear that. Like, wear what you want, do what you want, but don't do sexualized things in front of children.
Yes, please. Please. If you're going to wear your skirt, boys, you know, try to keep it down in front. Be careful when you sit down, you know.
Yeah.
Cross your legs like a proper
You
young
don't have
lady.
to cross your legs. I don't
Cross
even
your freaking legs, fella.
I don't even cross my legs all the time.
Beauty tips from Steve.
Yeah, no. Let's oh my God. That would be funny though if we dressed you up.
No, I'm not going to do that. I draw the line at being a unicorn with rainbow colored hair.
Whatever. Okay, so the Equality Crew, a beneficiary of the Walton's 2021 LGBTQ Advancement Fund, hosted a children's event during NWA's Equality Pride Parade in June. They even have a thing called the Youth Zone at the Walton Arts Center. So they talk about how they do a sensory zone, clearly targeting children and on the autism spectrum who also available for youth needing a break from sights and sounds. Well, that's good. It's good to have that. Gender confusion is particularly common among a young person on the autism spectrum who have a difficulty grasping social roles, making them particularly vulnerable to the suggestion that they could change their gender. Now, I think that is something that is worth noting right there. As more children are, autism is there's, I mean, if you don't know an autistic child, then, you probably don't know many children. I know many, and I know many people that have, that are that have talked to me about, children with autism. When I worked at the homeless shelter for families, I worked with autistic children a lot. Those are actually were the children that I connected with the most on. We didn't have to necessarily have the conversation, to communicate. But this right here, the fact that they say that it can be particularly common among young people on the autism spectrum. So more children are becoming autistic, and then they're targeting these children in this way. And what does that bring in? I mean, to me, it's like this just brings in more of the transhumanist agenda, right? Dehumanizing people, and oh God. Just it's alarming, and when you start putting the connections together, you're like, wait a minute.
The bells go off.
Yeah.
Ding. That's what mine sounds like. It just sounds like ding. Like your idea bulb. Light bulb.
So they've had to have shows, canceled due to safety concerns because people are upset about what they're doing.
Fuck yeah.
People are upset about that this is happening. I mean, and then they do stuff like they do, things that are great to help with the LGBTQ, right? They do a support thing where they have, free haircuts and a local stylist. They have a transition closet, where they donate clothes and accessories and stuff like that. And so if they're, if they say they're seeking gender transition, then they have a closet and they can go get some clothes. And that's great that they're getting support, that people in the community are getting support and acceptance, but the agenda behind it is what I have a problem with. It's not the people. It's the agenda that's being pushed and the manipulation. And if we notice anything from the last couple of years, is that people can really be pushed and manipulated. And I just don't want to see people being manipulated in any way. So they had to do a cancellation at the library after receiving complaints. Because most concerns, right here, most concerns were centered on the dance party and the associated drag show. it's not that they're doing haircuts and that they have school supplies and all those things to help with the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that. People have an issue with the drag show part of it. So this is also increasing the violent number of attacks that are happening, right? And people in this community are being attacked. And why are they being attacked? Because a target's being put on their back.
Well, yeah, I mean they kind of have that target anyway, but you're absolutely right. Being more.
Yeah, they're putting a vulnerable population, a very small, it's a much smaller population.
Yeah.
They
are kind of. It's always about marginalizing, fucking making as much division as possible, and appearing to help the weakest of them. And that's it's just a model. That's what the fuck they do. Then why would Walmart be any different?
Yeah, well, exactly. But I'm just saying, like, in general, what's happening right now is that these guys are being targeted already. You're already in a minority group, and then it's like you're putting that minority group on target. So even people that aren't doing these things are being attacked because other people within this are. So it's really, it's really making it's dividing the LGBTQ. It's dividing up, all the people that are supposed to be part of, like, a community. And, being part of that community, like, you can be LGBTQ and not be part of that, like, community aspect of it. Like, it's really, it depends on how much you insert yourself into it. But I mean, I think that, I would like to know how are they benefiting? How is Walmart benefiting from doing that?
Yeah. It looks good.
Yeah, it does. It does. It looks good. It looks like to the outside people, it looks like, people are getting, support. It gives them they get a credit. It's like because of the way that everything works now, right? Everything is like a virtue signal, or like, you check these boxes. So they're getting credit basically for being, woke or in the know or whatever, terminology is appropriate for this.
I just want to mention that Jason Rodriguez is a hashtag brilliant hashtag maker.
Who is Jason? What did he do?
These guys are using the fucking Save Steve Cutler Live.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I have to put it in the show notes.
Oh my god!
Save Steve Cutler. That's what it was.
Do you guys think that Walmart's doing this because they really care?
Well, of course.
So I have a second article here, and I think this one is a little bit more, of a conservative CBN CBN News. I think it's it's a Christian perspective. It's what it is. Christian perspective. So I was like, that's kind of like what came to my mind from there. I'm like, well, what are the Christians doing about this? Like, because that is a Bible Belt area, right? I mean, am I wrong with that? Down south? Huh?
It sounded funny. What do the Christians think about it?
well, because I know I thought like it's just it didn't seem like the pieces were fitting together. Why would Walmart be pro this? Like I just did. I mean, I could see them doing LGBTQ stuff, but doing actual like drag shows. That was just shocked me. I don't know why. Maybe just,
shocking.
I didn't think it would be in like in the Bible Belt area.
Yeah. V.S. Adams, how conservative.
So high-profile institutions like Disney have been under fire by family groups for years, pro-LGBT policies and activism. But there's another powerful force that's now on the radar for many conservative critics. The Walton family and their Walmart Foundation are suddenly getting lots of attention. It's no secret that the heirs of Walmart Foundation, Sam Walton, gave millions of dollars to LGBTQ related causes and events in their home state of Arkansas. Walton's daughter Alice Walton and grandson Tom Walton, along with their wives Olivia, have spearheaded these initiatives. Last year, the Alice Walton Foundation and Walton Family Foundation established the Arkansas LGBTQ plus Advancement Fund, a statewide $1 million fund designed to distribute grants of $25,000 and above for Arkansas-based organizations that provide services to the LGBTQ community. But conservative critics point out these organizations funded by the Walton and Walmart Foundations have also sponsored local drag shows and drag story hours for kids.
Well. What do you know about that? Thanks, Mary Ellen. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Grandpa. If you pull it up farther, I'll read some. In a new analysis by the Heritage Foundation, research associate Jillian Richards wrote, both the Walton Family Foundation and the Walmart Foundation are leading sponsors of the Northwest Arkansas NWA equality and LGBTQ nonprofit based in Fayetteville. The group's stated mission is to provide programs, education, and advocacy to serve, connect, and empower the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer community.
I don't know if we were going to read all of that.
Okay. So, according to the group's website, it brought local drag shows out of nightclubs, making the drag accessible to a new audience with Arkansas's first drag bingo.
What?
I-28. In addition, the group's Dixon Divas expanded to include the drag brunches, children's story times, and charitable activities. You're like moving it too fast.
I'm sorry. I know I was saying we don't need to read all of it, but like they're basically saying like the same thing. It's just that they have an issue with the drag show themselves. That's like most.
Yeah, I see that. Yep. There's other news there. I see. But okay.
So I have this other part to it.
That Walmart guy probably LGBTQ. Is someone cheating at Scrabble?
What?
Chris Foster said. Seb might need an intervention. He apparently found his fundamentalist side.
What are you like? Are you pulling a Jackson Hinkle?
He went full Hinkle a while back there. He's pulled back a little since then.
Jackson Hinkle suddenly like religious and like against OnlyFans and all this stuff. I'm like, what is happening? I don't know. I don't want to talk.
Next
about
thing
him.
you know, Andrew Tate is fucking in jail. Weird.
I know. Okay. So let's get back to this. Affirming teacher and school staff database.
Agreed, Jilly.
So this is something that This is from
Equality Crew,
the Walmart Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
This is part of the Walmart. This is what they're doing.
The We Dream communities across Arkansas and surrounding areas, where all the LGBTQ are loved, appreciated, and welcome. That's nice of them.
Okay, you just gonna.
Oh, do you want me to keep reading?
So this is
This what?
This is a database that they created.
Mm-hmm.
That is supposed to be confidential. So it says, please follow the following steps to help create and complete the database registration form. By completing this form, your contact information will be added to the Equality Crew Affirming Teacher and School Staff database and will only be shared with LGBTQ plus youth within your school district / building who request to be connected to affirming teachers and school staff. So they make it where you can like connect confidentially and like kind of like say what it is that, you know what I mean, like what your LGBT, you know,
What your pronouns are.
What your pronouns are,
And
what
such.
you prefer, and all of that stuff ahead of time. So it's through our confidential affirming teacher is school staff database. Research shows that having support at home and in school and their community is the strongest defense against attempted suicide among LGBTQ plus youth.
Okay, I could see that being possibly a good tool, but it seems like you're just kind of, you know, taking away the difficulty of communicating. I mean, I don't know. Why do you need that little go-between thing?
Yeah, they came up with that ahead of the 2021 school year so that the confused kids could connect with teachers who affirm their and share their sexual identities ahead of time.
I don't know if I don't know how I feel about that. I think ultimately everybody has that ability to share that with a teacher if you're like that mature, but is everybody like on that level at, you know, in 9th grade or whatever going into high school? That just seems weird. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? What do you think? I don't know what to think.
It's a lot on kids.
It's a lot on kids, it seems. You're putting a lot of responsibility on
They have to
child.
like know what their gender is going to be now. They have to like figure that out. And like, what if they don't, you know, like.
Sick. That's awesome, Applejack.
What?
He said him and his buddies made the 20 grand for their tour for the poor there in Ohio for New Year's.
Awesome.
Sick. That's amazing. And don't take anything Applejack says seriously in the chat because he's just fucking with you. Because he's like that. We like that.
All right, what is this here? Okay, and so another thing that's been going on with this Walton family. It's just really interesting to me, like all this LGBT funding that they're doing, and then the drag show with it.
Yeah. Weird.
So this is from the Daily Signal, and this is from November 21st, 2022. And this families of 4 trans-identifying youth and 2 doctors represented by the American Civil Liberties Union testified last month against the Arkansas law banning sex reassignment treatment for minors. Behind the effort to strike down the Arkansas Safe Adolescents from Experimentation, the SAFE Act is the wealthiest family in the nation. So they are pro this act. I have it, the bill, and I can put it in the chat for people if you guys want to check it out. Let me put that over here. All right. So let me see. So the Alice L. Walton Foundation, Olivia and Tom Walton, throughout the Walton Family Foundation, launched a $1 million LGBTQ advancement fund after the Arkansas legislation passed the SAFE Act in June 2021. The Walton's fund offered grants for organizations in Arkansas that provide critical services to the LGBTQ plus community.
Mm-hmm. Ba-ba-bum-ba-dum-bum.
So, who are these grants going to? Well, right here is where we discover that. The fund, so the Walton's Fund offered grants ranging from $25,000 to $150,000 to LGBT programs in Arkansas. These include the Equity Crew, Northeast Arkansas Equity, Central Arkansas Pride, and the Transition Closet. The Equality Crew has advertised LGBTQ themed current events featuring drag queen story hours for shows for children in Fayetteville, Arkansas. One of these events, a teen-only back-to-school night for LGBTQ youth at the public library, was canceled because of safety concerns. So, opposition to the SAFE Act. In the months leading up to the Walton's initiative, the Arkansas state legislature voted to pass the SAFE Act in April 2021. Arkansas Governor Hutchinson, a Republican, vetoed the bill on April 6th. That same day, Tom Walton released a statement supporting the veto. We are alarmed by the string of policy targeting LGBT people in Arkansas, wrote Walton, whose hands the Walton Family Foundation's home region program. The trend is harmful and sends the wrong message to those willing to invest or visit our state. But they're really pushing this for what reason, what purpose, though?
He added, we implore government, business, and community leaders to consider the impact of existing and future policy that limits basic freedom and does not promote inclusiveness in our communities and economies. Yeah.
So then the state legislature vetoed the governor on the same day. They overrode his veto. So in July, Jay Moody, a temporary, blocked the SAFE Act from taking effect in response to a lawsuit filed by the American Civil Liberties on behalf of 4 families of trans-identifying youth and 2 doctors. So, I mean, I don't know. Do you think they're actually fighting for these families? Do you think they're trying to do good?
I think, they got a lot of tax incentive to do stuff like this. I don't know. I don't know how that balances out with their fucking checkbook.
Well, if you go somewhere like the Human Rights Organization, you can look up the Corporate Equity Index.
Sure.
What is that? They have, you might have gotten these stickers in the mail. I have before, the Human Rights Campaign Foundation.
See how the business is rank on there. Sure.
Yeah. You get a ranking for how LGBTQ, like, you are. So you could find out, like where the company rates. How much do they support? They have a whole, like, they have standards that you have to meet, and like, you don't want to be, you want to make sure that you're part of this, right? Like, you are included in getting a positive rating to make sure that you're giving enough equality for people.
Well, you don't want to look like,
But that's the thing, is that you can do just enough so that you get a rating on this, and you don't actually support the LGBTQ, right? Because if you actually support it, then you would give people a living, not a living wage, a thriving wage.
impossible.
People wouldn't be like, living paycheck to paycheck and being able to afford to be on, state assistance to get food stamps and things like that, because they would be making enough money at your company. You wouldn't need to, you wouldn't need to show that you would just be supporting people in general, because you would have a good business model. You wouldn't be looking for your corporate equity and where are you going to rate on there. Because we would know that you have a great company because you do these things and you practice these things, and you don't need to have a report done about you. Steve's laughing at me.
Yeah.
So it's just like, when the military puts the rainbow, the rainbows on the bombs for you, you're checking off the box. We need to stop participating in this kind of thing. Like, this is what we need to, like, stop participating in.
Oh, sure. You want me to stop affirmating the greatness of the Walton family? Is that what you're telling me?
I just don't trust them.
Yeah, kind of sus. That's the thing, is like every time somebody does something kind, then you have to like, oh, really? Especially when it's a big, ugly corporation. Like, is this nefarious? Or are they just trying to? No, they're still scumbags because they still not budging.
No, because there would be other
you know?
ways that they would be showing that they care.
Yeah, the wages.
Like,
fundamentally.
And then, they came, I came across this, like, and this is on cityjournal.org. Walmart.inc has launched a critical race theory training program that denounces the United States as a white supremacy system and teaches white hourly wage employees that they are guilty of white supremacy thinking and internalized racial superiority. According to the Cashapp of internal documents I have obtained from a whistleblower, Walmart launched the program in 2018 in partnership with the Racial Equality Institute in Greensboro, North Carolina, consulting firm. See, you have to have a consulting firm come in and tell you that what you know what I mean? That
well, you want to make the best decision that you can. You don't want to just jump to conclusions.
Like, you don't want to just be, like instead of having extra consulting firms and spending money and doing a program that's based on critical race theory and making your employees, Like instead of doing all this, maybe help the people that work there. Give them a wage that they can thrive off of. I think that's more beneficial than having employees go through some training that they're going to zone out on.
Sleep well, Angela Sangster.
Good night, Angela.
We'll see you next time.
So Walmart has trained more than 1,000 employees and made the program mandatory for executives and recommended for hourly wage workers in Walmart stores. And I'm not against, knowing true history, but should you have to learn it at a minimum wage job? Isn't it like part of like the educational system that you should be learning the truth?
Yeah, well, they memory hole everything, so you can't really learn the truth.
And how do you know what Walmart is portraying by this firm that, okay, yeah, this is the approved narrative of what you're allowed to say. I haven't seen their training program, so I'm completely assuming, what they may or may not say. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have the documents. We need the documents. Where are the Walmart documents, Sam Walton? Why don't you tell me about your agenda? Huh? Seriously, man. I don't know what I'm talking about at all, but, I would spend hours confusing you if I had the chance.
And I am not against the truth. I want the truth. Right. I want the truth. I want it to be but when there is an agenda involved, I mean, what are they trying to do with this?
Yeah, it is it is what are they doing? What is it?
I don't know.
It's the same old slimy. It is probably the same old slimy.
Jilly, it is strange to agree with assholes.